Welcome to another SimpleScribe tutorial. In this one, I'm going to show you how to make this quick video.
Once upon a time, there was a clown who could juggle balls.
So this is about the clown Albert, and he could juggle balls, and then he decides to bite more than he could chew, and then he decides to juggle something else.
One day, he decided balls were not enough, and he started juggling chairs.
Alright, okay, that's a quick video, and it has so many elements to it that by showing you guys how I made this, you'll be able to create more powerful things in SimpleScribe. Okay, so let's begin and look at my actual structure here. I have two scenes. The first scene is where he's juggling the balls, and the second scene is now juggling chairs. And I have two audio files which I generated by AI right here in the app. So let's just quickly begin with what I did. What I did was I had an image that I traced off. Now, if you can draw, you can just draw the clown if you wanted to, but sometimes it's easy to just generate the art and then just trace it, which is the quickest way to work, really. The advantage of that is that you can use the same character to generate another image in a different pose or doing something different. So I'll show you how that's done. The first thing I did was I went to insert online graphics. And if you have other images, for example, if I want this clown to do something different now, I would just select that image as part of the prompt, and then I'll write, draw this image or draw this clown driving a car, okay? And then it would do that, for example, and then I would trace that. So that's what I did. I generated the image and I used that as a backbone to draw the clown juggling the balls. Now, how do you create the balls? So basically, I just drew the balls. I didn't even use a shape. I just roughly drew the balls, and then I animated them and then looped animated. As you can see, there's only two keyframes on each one of these balls, but it will play forwards and backwards as many times or for as long as the block lasts. And to do that is quite easy, actually. Also, notice here, once it crosses this line here, it skips over into the next one. So these blocks really and truly should be ending right there, okay, so that it doesn't skip over or spill over into the next one. But I'll show you how the animation system works. Whatever block you want to animate, it doesn't matter what it is. I'll just show you a simple example of a circle. I'll draw another ball. Okay, let's just give it a color. So I'll go with blue. Okay, let's go with a blue fill and a black background. That's better, right? Okay, I'll say stop. And let's find it. So there's our ball. Now the entrance part would be the part where I actually draw the circle. The reason you can't see it, by the way, is because it's actually hidden in this track. So what I'll do is I'll hide these two tracks so we don't see the other tracks, and I'll hide that one as well. And I will unhide this track here, and I'll bring the opacity back up to full so we can see the circle I just drew. And so what I'll do now is actually I'll put it here and give it a bit more length. Now it would take this much time to draw, but I really don't want it to take that much time, so I'll just reduce the drawing time. Should draw the circle pretty fast. And now to animate it, I simply click animate, and then I drag it to the new location or the new keyframe that I want it to be at. So I'll select it and then just drag it. Oh, in this case, it's not working because this is locked. So the padlock means that you can't interact with elements on this track. It's useful if you don't want to bump into yourself when editing. So I'll unlock this track and then just animate it over there. Once I've animated it to the spot I want it to animate to, I'll just press animate, and then the animation there is complete. Now the keyframes by default usually happen between the entrance and the exit, which is why they are like this, but I can always drag the keyframe back to the start and then just play that way. Okay, see, it goes to the next keyframe, interpolates to the next keyframe, and then stops. But now in order for it to loop, I can just make it loop. The reason it disappears is because it's got a fade out animation. If it didn't have a fade out animation, it would stay on the screen. So to change this, I go to animations, and then I change, like I said, the exit animation is fade out, but I can change that. Instead, I want to change this to a loop. Now I can either loop it so it goes back to the beginning, or I can ping-pong loop it so it interpolates backwards and forwards, and that's what gives the balls that juggling effect. So I did use a ping-pong type loop. Press save. And now this time when it interpolates to the end, it interpolates backwards and forwards by itself. without me having to do anything. And you can have as many keyframes in this animation as you want. You can go in a square direction, in a triangle direction. You could change the width, the rotation, do whatever you want. It will interpolate through the keyframes and then interpolate backwards to the keyframes the other way. All right, okay, so the video is getting too long now. We're over 5 minutes. I try to keep these under 5 minutes. So I think this one needs a part two. So I'll leave this one here and then we'll look at what else I did in part two. We'll look at how I created the two different scenes, and I'll show you a little bit more on how I generated the voiceover right here on SimpleScribe without having to go and bring that in. That's the beauty about SimpleScribe, is you can do almost everything here in SimpleScribe, and that's what we tried to create. So I'll see you guys in part two of this tutorial.